What in the world is happening with King County real estate? Well, let's look at the August forecast and you'll see. Ready? Here we go. Okay, supply and demand, my favorite graph of all time. This is supply and demand for King County. The blue is the demand, the number of houses that went under contract. The green is the supply, number of new listings. And like we talked about last month, and we thought, well, did we reach the peak? Have we reached the peak of inventory? We sure have. And really, it would be shocking at this point if we hadn't reached the peak of this year. So what does that mean? Well, that means if you're selling, you're going to be selling into a decreasing inventory market. You're going to have a better shot at selling because less competition. All that nonsense about it's best time to sell in the spring. Bullshit. It's bullshit. There's more competition in the spring. Why would you think it's better to sell into more competition? It's not. And if you look, so low, definite down. Now we're over last year. We're not where we were in 2022. But look, the buyers have done something interesting. The buyers have stayed fairly steady. So this is interesting. So not only did we hit the same number of buyers as last year with more inventory, so less demand, more supply, lower prices, certainly not bidding wars. You got to be really careful how you're pricing it. But you could also see that month to month to month, we don't have the decrease that we normally have. So buyers have been steady the last 3 months. What does this mean? It means if you're selling, you got a really good shot at selling coming into the August, September, October timeframe towards the end of the year. You're just going to have an easier time in King County than you would last year, or certainly than the year before. We'll see what buyers wind up doing. But in the meantime, the other thing you can see is if you're buying, you're going to have to be real. You're going to have to get less picky because there's going to be less for you to choose from. And if anything is priced well, they're going to wind up with multiple offers. They just are. For those of you that have been waiting for interest rates to come down, you got bad news coming. If interest rates come down, there's going to be even more buyers. You're going to have more competition. You're going to have less buying power because you're going to need to go up in price with more competition. That's how that's going to go. If I were a buyer, I would find something right now. Just find one of those houses that was listed in May that is still sitting there, get them to reduce their price and get into the market, get your house, because once interest rates come down, it's going to be a circus for buyers. So King County, if you're in King County, you're selling, you look as good as you've looked all year, if not better. Certainly is better than you have in the last couple of years. And if you're buying, I would get on the boat. I would get into action right away. If you got questions, because every neighborhood's different, every person's different, every situation is different. None of it's the same. Let me know. I'm happy to help. That's what I'm here for. Aaron Hendon with Christine & Company over at EXP. Party on, Wayne. What in the world is happening with Pierce County real estate? Oh, man, you got to check this out. Are you ready? Here's the August forecast. Here we go. Groovy. Okay, what you're looking at is supply and demand for Pierce County. Blue is the demand, the number of homes that came off the market. Green is the supply, the number of homes that were sold. The number of homes that were listed. And you can see a couple of things. As we were speculating last month, we have in fact hit the peak of inventory already this year. Happened back in May. Not more houses coming on the market. So we're in the downside of the year, which happens every year. Less and less houses come on, which is great for sellers. If you're selling, you're going to have an easier time, less competition, more prices. The other interesting thing to see is while it's over last year, it's not back to 2022 levels. So there's less business. If you're in my business, real estate, you're going to have a harder time than you would in the past. It's no reprieve, and it's not getting better this year. You're done for the year. You're not getting more properties to list. Okay. I mean, you're going to get whatever you get, but you're not getting an increasing number of properties to list. But look at the buyers. The buyers have remained steady. That's super interesting. It's the same as last year, and it's the same over the last 4 months. you're not getting the decrease in buyers that you would normally get at this time of year. So that means if you're buying, you got to get less picky. You just got to get less picky because there's buyers in the market looking for a limited number of houses, a decreasing number of houses. Less supply, same demand means increase the price, means more bidding wars, means it's harder to find a house. You got to find a house. I would recommend you find a house that was listed in May at that peak that's still there, that they overpriced it. So you can't price it like an idiot if you're selling. You got to still deal with that buyers are limited in what they can pay, but you're going to have an easier time as we get towards the end of the year. Unless the buyers drop away, you're going to find those houses getting sucked up as soon as they come to market. So if you're selling, you look good. If you're buying, I would get moving, especially if you think interest rates are going to drop, which I do. But I don't think they're going to drop a lot, but I do think they're going to come down in September. That's going to make it worse for you. I know you've been waiting to buy till the interest rates come down, but so is everybody. That means more demand. It means that people aren't going to just start throwing their house on the market because the interest rates came down. You're going to have a harder time finding it something in this fall. So I'd recommend you get moving right away. If you're selling, you got more blue sky in front of you than you've had in the past. If you have questions, because listen, every neighborhood is different. Every house is different. Everyone's situation is different. Let me know what you need. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to answer those questions. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at EXP. Bam. Talk to you next month. What in the world is happening with Snohomish County real estate? Well, 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 well. Let's check it out. It's super interesting. Here we go. Supply and demand for the last 3 years, last 2 years Snohomish County. Blue is the demand, number of homes that came off market. Green is the supply, number of homes that came to market. Now, what do you see? Well, we did, as we speculated, hit the peak of inventory already. It came early this year. It's very unpredictable, very, very predictable that we have seen the peak of inventory. In other words, there are not going to be increasing number of houses come to market predictably. Meaning if you're selling, you've got a better shot at selling coming up than you have. All the nonsense about selling in the spring is just that nonsense. Doesn't hold water. Less supply, more demand means easier to sell. That's what you're looking at here in this graph for sure. Why? Because look at the buyers. The buyer demand has been steady. First of all, it's steady compared to last year. And it's steady month to month, meaning as inventory is dropping, buyers aren't going away. So if you're selling, you got a really good shot at getting that house sold pretty quickly at a good price. If you're buying, I would get less picky. It's going to get worse for you. There's going to be less to choose from. You're not going to find a place later in the year that you can't find now. I mean, maybe something new will come to market, but there's all those buyers waiting for it. So there's going to be more, there'll be bidding wars for those, be multiple offers on those houses. That's what's predictable. That's what this graph shows. And if interest rates do drop, as most people think they will in September, it's going to get worse for you as a buyer. I know you think it's going to get better, but there's going to be more buyers with more money. It's going to be bidding wars. It's going to be harder for you to buy. It's just not going to work out in the way you think it is. I would find something that's been sitting in the market till May, and then when interest rates drop, I'd refinance because it's not going to get easier as towards the end of the year. Now, look, every house is different. Everyone's situation is different. Every neighborhood is different. It's all different. If you have questions about your specific scenario, that's what I'm here for. I'd love to help you with that. My name is Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at EXP. Give me a call. Let me talk to you. What in the world is happening with Kitsap County real estate? Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's look at the August forecast. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Supply and demand. Green is the supply, new listings that came on the market. Blue, demand, number of homes that went under contract. And what do we see? All right, you can see, first of all, we have, as we predicted, hit the peak of inventory. There is not an increase in inventory coming. You're not going to get more houses coming to market in August, September, October than you did earlier in the year. So May was our peak this year. It's a little bit earlier than normal, but there you go. So that means if you're selling, you do have a better shot at getting it sold. Selling in the fall, this fall looks like it's a really good opportunity for you to get a house sold. Why? Well, look at the demand. Demand is over last year in Kitsap County, and it's steady month to month. It's been the same demand since April. So as supply goes down and demand stays steady, that means you got a better shot at selling. That's the law of supply and demand. I don't make this up. That's the way things work. Whatever you have in your head about the spring is the best time to sell is bullshit. It doesn't hold water. Having there be more supply doesn't make it easier to sell. Just because more people think that, I don't know. Do we have to do a lesson in what most people think? We don't. So buyers, I would find something that's been on the market for 2 or 3 months. If you think interest rates are going to come down, which I do, it does mean there's going to be more buyers coming to market. It's not going to get easier for you. Find someone who priced it like a dope in May and it's still sitting there that you can get a price reduction on. That would be good. And then refi when the rates drop. Much smarter than waiting for interest rates to drop. Way smarter for you to do that. And if you're selling, you got more possibilities to sell now than you did anytime in the last year for sure. So let me know what questions you have, because every house is different, neighborhood's different, situation is different, everyone's different. So you need to get a real consultation as a buyer or seller. That's what I'm here for. I'd love to help you with that. My name's Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Let me know what I can do for you. What in the world is happening with Vashon real estate? Well. It is wild, wild west out here. You ready? Let's take a look. Okay, supply and demand. My favorite graph. Blue is the demand, number of homes that went under contract. Green is the supply, new listings. All right, so we had a huge bump in listings in May. Since then, it's been steady. That means we've hit the peak of inventory. It's very unpredictable that there'd be more houses coming to market. I mean, there'll be a decreasing number of houses. There will be new houses that sell, but it won't be what we had. It won't be 28 new houses in a month. That was it. That was the peak. So look at demand. Demand has been increasing. Harder to buy on Vashon than it was last month. Harder to buy than the month before. It's harder to buy. There's more houses selling on Vashon, that more buyers interested in buying it, decreasing number of houses. So that means good news if you're selling. If you're selling, you haven't had a better time to sell on Vashon in quite a while. And if you're buying, you better be fast. You know, I'd find one of those houses that came on the market in May. I mean, there's still 23 homes on the market, and a lot of them have been sitting for a while. You can get a good deal on one of those, because if you think, like I do, that interest rates are likely to tick down in September, well, this is a really good opportunity for you to find something now that was overpriced, negotiate a good price for it, and then refinance. If you wait for interest rates to come down, what's predictable is there'll be more buyers. It'll be harder for you to buy. If you're selling, that interest rate decrease is great news for you. There'll be more buyers interested in buying, and you already have the best time to sell on Vashon that you've had all year. So let me know what questions you have, because every situation is different. Every house is different. Every price point is different. It takes a real consultation to see where you're at and what you can get. But for sellers, it's getting easier. For buyers, it's going to get harder. Let me know what I can do for you. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company over at eXp Realty. Talk to you later.